a nice little cygnet. Very, very young.
The tradition of swan upping dates back hundreds of years, but this is the first time King Charles has the rights to own any wild swan that's unmarked and mute. The annual census on the River Thames is a 5-day journey upstream in 6 traditional rowing skiffs, supported by boats used to evacuate Allied troops from Dunkirk during World War II. Royal swan uppers' scarlet uniforms have been worn for years, standing out against centuries-old vintners and dyers' livery companies who tag their swans to claim ownership. David Barber was Queen Elizabeth's swan marker for 30 years. He's continuing his role under King Charles.
There's really no difference, except for we know the King is very interested in wildlife and conservation, which is very positive for us, so that should be good.
The swan uppers scan the banks for new cygnets, and it's not long before something is spotted.
So the swan uppers have found a brood, and they've separated the adult swans from the cygnets, and what they're doing now is checking if the adult swans are tagged. If they are untagged, they belong to the King, and therefore the cygnets will also belong to the King, but they're also checking them over for any injuries, because the whole point of swan upping nowadays is conservation and education.
Do you know anything about swan upping?
Local school children met the swan uppers on the banks and were taught about conservation efforts to avoid the birds getting caught in fishing lines. They were introduced to orphaned cygnets too.
I have seen a baby cygnet. It looks like a baby swan, but it was a little bit grey.
To encourage an interest in the environment, children were shown how to bind the cygnet's legs to tag them safely, testing out their own bow tying skills on the swan uppers themselves. It's been a challenging year for swan numbers due to the spread of bird flu. Hundreds of swans have been lost on the Thames alone, but infections are down, paving the way for the swan population to recover. Cameron Walker, GB News, on the River Thames.